A good morning. 10 years. G2 has been here, trying our best to make functional art for 10 years. I can't believe it. And it's time to celebrate that this coming Tuesday. I've got a little story about the start of G2. I'm going to save it for the end and just throw out the info for you at the beginning in case you just want the info for this Tuesday release. That's what we're going to start with. So, if you're new here at all, we like to call Tuesdays G Tuesday, just fun. So the ultimate G Tuesday is coming up this Tuesday. Just coincides with our 10-year anniversary as well, February 22nd, 2022. All sorts of twos. So at 2:22 Eastern Time, in the store, we're gonna have an epic sale. One of the biggest complaints that people have about G2 is not scarcity is not the right word. How difficult it is to land a new G2 from the store. So you don't have to worry about that today. This is the ultimate party for everybody. You just have to show up in your 2-hour and 22-minute time frame. So let's start it off with the first one. The Big Daddy, the Titanium. 10 years ago, we started with this Albatross. This was our first yo-yo. And 10 years in, we're going to make a little titanium version of it. It's retired, so I wasn't going to re-release it. I'm a man of my word. Titanium version. Same specs as the original. Obviously, the material is a little bit different. Did my best to keep it the same and updated it to take G19 pads. Number 2, the Mini Banshee. But I couldn't settle on one version. So this guy is the one that's been out and about, that went out for a Patreon shipment. This is the version 2 prototype. Here's the V1, here's the V3. There's 2 versions of the Mini Banshee going up on the site. They're kind of like straddle the V2 prototype. They're thinner and one's wider. So we've got the standard and the wide. The standard is kind of your mini that fits better in your pocket. We're back. Sorry, kids were going crazy upstairs. So, this Mini Banshee, just under 48 millimeter in diameter and 39.5 wide on the regular version. Still a full-size C bearing, so I think you still get the best play out of it. If you go smaller, maybe you switch up the bearing and go smaller, but I still like the size C for anything responsive. Even at this mini size, you have to go like super mini for that to change for me. It's just like it fits on your throw finger perfectly. Just a lot of fun, plays really nicely. When we shrunk it down from the version 2, we took some weight off because you start to get more weight in a smaller package, and it starts to feel like it plays heavy. Even it was at 60 grams, now it's down to 58. Slides in the pocket. It's just a sweet little mini. It's so much fun. The wide version of the mini, and this is kind of weird, I guess. We're doing a pre-order for a mini and then a wide mini, but I was playing the version 1, which is as wide as the full B18, and it doesn't play like a mini. It's small in your hand, but it plays like a full-size yo-yo with such stability and like float. So this one is 48 millimeter, just under in diameter, and then just a hair under 43 millimeters wide. So it's basically a full-size yo-yo on the width size and just mini in the diameter size. So that's the wide version. They like I said, they straddle this version 2, wider and then thinner. Yes, we soften the spikes if you've played the version 2 prototype. So that's 3 of the 5 yo-yos releasing for pre-order on Tuesday. The 4th option, the B18, our best model metal ever. This is the 7068 version that so many of you have crowned as the king of the B18. And it was limited to a Patreon release, so there's not that many out there. And I wanted everybody to get a chance to have that staple of our brand before we retire the B18 in what's arguably what you guys mostly consider to be the best version. So we're going to have a pre-order for that. And send it off into the sunset as its retirement comes up. So that's 4. Titanium Albatross. Mini Banshee wide, B187068 version. Different than the prior AL77075. And last but not least, it's something not on this table, the Decade. What's the Decade? The Decade is going to be a mystery yo-yo for you guys. You have to go in blind. I'm going to tell you the size. You can probably guess what it's based off of, right? 10 years for G2. So you can guess what it's based off of. But it's 52.5 in diameter, 41 wide, and 62 grams. Full C-size bearing. And just a straight up, it's going to be solid monometal. And I kind of wanted to have something else to commemorate this 10-year buy, this 10-year party. So obviously, Titanium Albatross is one way to do that. And then this other way is going to be a monometal, so it's a little more affordable for everybody to snag one. And the Decade is a one-time release. This is the only time you can get the Decade. As you guys know, once I say something like that, that's it. I don't go back and change it when a bunch of people ask me down the road. No, like, this is your chance at the Decade. Is what's fun about it, I think. Complete mystery. Just a one-time release, and everybody that gets one is going to be pumped. Everybody that didn't get one is going to be watching that BST hoping, right? But no, those are our 5 options for this for 2 hours and 22 minutes on Saturday. 10 years. What can we say? Hopefully you stop by. Thanks for supporting G2. I appreciate it. Some more random stuff. It's the plan for this is to ship out at the end of May, early June. Everything that you buy on the site on Tuesday is your deposit. That's your down payment. You're going to have a invoice sent to you when they're ready to ship. For the remaining balance, each yo-yo will be different on the balances for the most part. And colorways, you're going to have like one solid option on each of the monometals, and then like a wash or a fade, and then maybe 1 3-color option for each. I'm going to keep the colorways limited for each, so it's kind of straightforward. Grab the ones you want. You don't have to stress over which colors. Thai Albatross, it is going to be available only in the polished. So the polished raw, polished copper, and polished black. For this pre-order for it, I am staying away from the blasted just because I've had so many issues with blasted glitches on the titanium Triton that we've been working on. So I don't want to have to order a huge number of extra titaniums in case of glitches. I'd like to keep that number smaller, so we're safer with the polished look. And it kind of, I don't know, it's all subjective, but I think it looks good on the Albatross, just being the polished, a little more slick version with the way that the cup catch zone looks. But that's not why. It's because of the glitch rate and trash grade rate. Okay, so 10 years ago, if you stuck around this long and want to hear the story, 10 years ago was 2012. And I probably started yo-yoing about 2 years prior to that. But 2012, I had just graduated college. I was an AP processor at Goodyear, a subcontract that works in their headquarters, the tire company. And that was by day. By night, I was a maintenance guy for a church-school. I don't know, they had all events there, like, too. So I would go to work, then clock out and go to work, and then go home, sleep, and do it all over again. But the maintenance job was slow. There was a lot of downtime. I mean, it was fun. I worked with my best friend, and that is where my love for yo-yo returned. I found my yo-yos in my closet and took it to work with me, had an iPhone, looked up videos, found Yo-Yo Expert, and at that point, I was just shocked at unresponsive play. It did change the game. So at that point, I am doing, I'm at work, but now I'm actually learning yo-yo tricks. I am learning this unresponsive game. And I did that for a couple years there, so like 2010, 2012. And then 2012 hits, and that's when we started G2, the Albatross. Yes, that was the first one. We couldn't find a yo-yo that we liked. The sizing wasn't quite right on a lot of other things. There was like the Peak. What else were we like? The 54 by 1 drop. And they were kind of smaller. We wanted to go a little bit bigger with the Albatross. Still organic, soft, but wanted to make something that was like specific to what we were looking for, and we couldn't find in other yo-yos. Dumped my life savings. So I'm working 2 jobs. Basically, that's all I do is work. And put all that money at that point into this Albatross, this yo-yo. This is the first one off the machine, maybe. It's one of the first 2 raws. And that feeling when you like buy something. As you get older, you buy something expensive. It could be anything. It could be a computer. It could be a TV, a car, a house. You get this gut-wrenching feeling, and you don't know if you made the right decision. It was like that times a million. I thought, wow, like, how am I going to, how am I going to sell these yo-yos and be able to get that return back? And, or what if there's an error in manufacturing or anodizing? And I don't know. It was a stressful time. It's still stressful to think about doing that. Like, I guess it was the right choice. We're still here 10 years later. Did I ever think that we would be here 10 years later? Heck no. Not even close. And thank you for supporting G2. If it wasn't for you guys that hang out and buy these products, I would have be the only one making them and playing my own stuff. And it would be like, well, we did the Albatross. We're done. So thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoy them as much as I do. And I'm excited for the journey to continue. I'm not going to commit to another 10 years. We'll commit to a couple more, but no, I don't know. 10 is a lot. See you guys Tuesday.